And welcome back to Janky AF and Year of the Aerostar, episode number 130. Well, it's been over 2 months since we did Year of the Aerostar, if you don't count the compilation I made. Lots happened since then. We've crashed an Aerostar. We've been to the junkyard. We hit some big milestones on Janky AF. We had a great fleet update video that many of you saw. We sold a car. So much has gone on. And I've been trying to get one out. I actually recorded one a while ago, a little bit of a lost episode, a really cool one. And of course, now it's been sold. And I had a lot of technical issues that I ran into. The first time I forgot to record my screen, because even back then I hadn't done one in a long time, wasn't in the swing of things. So that was my fault. Then I freed up a bunch of space on my phone, but the second time I went to record it, I recorded my screen and my phone, for whatever reason, decided it didn't have any data, so it barely captured anything. I think we're gonna go with that one because you'd rather see the Aerostar than my face. So I think we'll run that one. Then I tried to record it a third time. Something came up, or I ran out of time, or just couldn't do it. So anyways, we're gonna try to put that out there. I just don't think it'll have like, I think the phone didn't record me, but I think the audio and, you know, the synced up screen recording is all good. So you can see my face a little bit now. And I figured since I was out here, I'd give you a little tour of what's going on. We went to the junkyard recently, and la-ti-da, I have to edit that video. But in the meantime, I just thought I'd piece this together. I got a bezel, I got so much good stuff. And this is a little teaser, a sneak preview. We got a quarter panel from this gorgeous maroon van. And I was out here in the rain, just sort of, you know, seeing what was what. And I think there was this giant panel gap before. Part of it was because the panel was busted in, but I think I'm realizing now, and I should have realized this sooner, that I think probably part of this structure got a little bent. But I think with a little persuasion and sort of like a hammer, we can it's already better than it was on the other panel. So we'll just have to sort of knock these mounting points, just a bunch of 8mm bolts mostly and some screws. But I think, you know, it's gonna match up pretty good with the headlights. You know, the panel gaps on these things are never great to begin with. And then I'll have the choice of, you know, leaving it all mismatched and weird, which looks even greater when you get to the two-tone panels, or painting it. I think eventually I'd like to paint it up nice. But for now, that's where we're at. So I wanted to give you just a little update as a little bonus for, you know, for how long it's been since we did a Year of the Aerostar, and show you some Aerostars in real life while we're at it. So let's get to the episode. But it's funny because this is a mismatched quarter panel too. But I got another quarter panel for that because I figured it was almost easier than trying. These are kind of complex, not really complex by today's standards, but getting those contours to kind of all match out. If I pound this out from the backside, I figured while I'm there, get another quarter panel. So I got both quarter panels from the donor Aerostar at the junkyard. Yada, yada, yada. When I edited it, I think I was doing some little thing, so we'll probably just cut to right when I actually reveal the Aerostar. So without further ado, please enjoy episode number 130 of Year of the Aerostar. Janky do thanky. This is take two, so, you know, full transparency. And one thing I did last episode, or this episode last time, was I gave a very, very long-winded intro about the context. So maybe I can shorten that up to make it a little bit easier for people at home to not have to trudge through all that. I crashed, or I hit a deer with my 1993 Ford Aerostar Sport. We got some insurance money, and I put a poll up saying, what should I do with that money? Thank you so much to everyone who responded to this poll. 26 votes, which is high for me. 19% buy a parts Aerostar. 38% buy a running driving Aerostar. 23% stick the money in the bank and slowly find parts. The real responsible answer. 15% buy a Fiat X19 or engine swap donor car. Some people want to see the Fiat being worked on. And 4%, God bless the 4% of you who said buy a convertible for the sweetheart. She will be very happy to hear that 4% of you want me to buy a car for her instead of working on my own stuff. So I thought that was very funny. Right now, the money is in the bank, and we'll try to put it in some sort of high yield interest account. What it should go towards is credit card debt, but we are going to treat ourselves to actually using that money that came from an Aerostar to reinvest back into Aerostardom. And so we are shopping now for a Ford Aerostar or Ford Aerostar parts. or something in that realm. This is, more of an exercise than anything else. I haven't made any decisions yet. And some of these will be out of my budget and some are just won't consider buying, but it's nice to see our options, and it just feels a little bit spicier with real money behind it to potentially make a move. So with that being said, let's introduce our vehicle today. Oh, one last thing. I will say, when I was shopping, I did happen to see this vehicle, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do an episode on it, this 1989 Ford Aerostar, because it's listed for $1,200. I actually have shot, and I like to do this from time to time, I've shot an episode of this vehicle. This was episode 24, and I actually did an entire remix video because they added more pictures and context to the post, and I've never done that before. It's the only video I've ever done. It doesn't count as a separate episode, but I did a remix because there was more on it. So this is 24 and 24 remix. If you liked that vehicle and missed your chance at it, well, here it is, still for sale, somewhere in Michigan, Columbus, Michigan, and it's very cute with these kids sitting on top of it. You can see it in a junkyard here. And next, and written on here, it says save. So I just love that someone consciously saved this vehicle, didn't crush it, and now it's for sale from only $1,200, no rust. So if someone's out there in Michigan, this is a steal of a deal. It says bring a top post battery. So in theory, you can drive it out of there for $1,200. I mean, a really cool, I think it's a 89 it says here. I believe this says 86, so then that's interesting, but it's got to be the same one. I mean, it's identical. It's got all those strange, weird graphics and stuff. Anywho, let's introduce our vehicle for the day. Here we have a 1994 Ford Aerostar passenger extended window minivan. Listed in Chagrin Falls, Ohio. In the last episode, I made a dumb joke about it's with much to my chagrin. I don't know how to pronounce the name of this town. Stupid joke. So tell me out there if you're from Ohio. Is it chagrin? Is it chagrin? I don't know. For $7,000, pretty high dollar amount for a Ford Aerostar. There was just an Aerostar that sold on Bring a Trailer for just under $7,000, a white one, I think a shorty 3-liter. I'm going to do an episode on that. And Bring a Trailer is always fun when Aerostar goes up on there because we just get to sort of see where the market is, in a more widely seen populace. Car people from all walks of life, from all interests, get to make their comments on the Ford Aerostar. So I always like those, and we'll do an episode on that. But this one I had to feature before it goes away. It's been up for a little while, even though it's out of my price range because of this crazy, crazy wrap that's on the vehicle. We have to talk about it. It's going to make a great thumbnail, obviously, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do this one. I'll probably have to do this one for the thumbnail, but the other side is very, very good too, which we'll see in a second. Okay, about this vehicle. Driven 90,000 miles, automatic transmission, exterior color white, interior color not given. Very funny because the exterior color is not white and the interior color is looks like tan or gray, but they didn't list that. 14 city, 19 highway for your mileage for a combined 16 miles per gallon, presumably the 3-liter, as it does not look like to be an all-wheel drive version. 2 owners, according to Marketplace. So, seller's description. Are you patriotic? Have an art kink? Want to be the coolest guy on the block? Look no further, ... And then it just says, van is in unbelievable shape. Now, when I first recorded this, I went on a long diatribe, which I thought was quite good, about this specific type of Marketplace listing, which I really like, which is sort of the self-effacing, super hyperbolic, cheesy sales pitch, where they're sort of overselling you on this vehicle as if it's the greatest thing ever, and promising you all the wonderful things it's going to bring into your life. I like that sales pitch, cheesy sales pitch, sort of style or category of Marketplace listing, because I think it shows that the person has a sense of humor, and I think that it shows that there's probably some intelligence going on to, make that self-effacing calculation when listing it. So I think it's a good sign. Obviously the fact that the van is priced at what it is must mean it's in decent condition if they're asking this much. I think it might have just gone down $1,000. I think it might have been originally $8,000. And then they say van is unbelievable shape, so they give you like, you know, seriousness at the end of the post to really be like, okay, this isn't a total joke. We're still trying to sell this van. It's still in good condition. It's still worth this much money. Who knows why this wrap got put on here? I don't sure if this was like a radio station van, but it doesn't have any like lettering or branding on it whatsoever. Just this crazy wrap. I wonder if this was like a college project, now that I'm thinking about it, for like a graphic design person or something, because as we'll see, the wrap actually has quite a bit of thought and sort of technical skill put into it. I don't know that much about wraps, but I would imagine that it's not the easiest thing to do when we see this. So the first side obviously is Statue of Liberty. Looks like fireworks going on in the background. Very like, you know, bombastic, bright colors and sort of this, I don't know, this is like a very definitive style with all these like many layers all like sort of smushed together. As we transition around to the hood, we have this graphic of this face, kind of like quite weird. And I'm sure this is something that I'm not understanding, some reference that I don't get. So if you understand this reference, please show it in the comments. I'm not sure what this is. But if you look how the purple of the Statue of Liberty side blends into the red and the purple of the face, and then at the corner here, it kind of transitions into this black. And as we go around here, we have this, you know, very iconic Beatles Abbey Road scene, which actually is my favorite side of the vehicle, not because I'm some giant lover of the Beatles. It's funny that there is a Volkswagen Beetle in this on an Aerostar. That's kind of funny. But I just think the black fading to the white with these street you know, crosswalk signs in the road and the fact that it's automotive, I just think it works really well as a wrap. And not only the color transitions, but just the sort of the mise en scène or the physical content of the photograph works very well against the body lines of the Aerostar. It almost has like a rising sun motif going on here. And the fact that they got all, you know, the band members sort of, you know, covering up over the windows on the vinyl, but then your driver's side window, like the way they framed everything works really well. And then as you see, I believe it's John Lennon in the white suit, the actual color of everything begins to turn white. So that's like a sort of cool little detail. And then that swings around to this white and red and blue motif of, believe this is a Bruce Springsteen cover, right? And of course his Tuchus is on the Tuchus of the Aerostar. So there's a lot of little subtle details that make me appreciate the wrap. Now, I mean, you can blend colors easily enough, but even just the way things are framed and the way they transition from one to the other. Now we have these horizontal stripes on the back of the car, which kind of makes sense. I would have liked to see the Aerostar badge still on there, but that's all right. So, you know, a sneaky, sophisticated little job here on this wrap. I was saying the first time I talked about this that it seems like they would have to have like this, the Aerostar dimensions in like a CAD program to know how, it's not just like slapping like a pattern on there. Like you're gonna have to know exactly how these things fit, how the mouth goes over the actual box of the grille and the lights and then comes down on the bumpers. You know, and then the intricacy of these little details and grooves in the bumpers that all getting wrapped. I mean, I don't think this is a paint job. If this is a paint job, it's like an airbrush job. It's absolutely crazy. I have to assume it's wrap. And actually, I think when you look at the top, you can see that the roof is not painted. So I'm guessing it's got to be a wrap. But even so, it's just impressive. You know, I got to give a shout out to the technical components here of how they managed to fit everything on here, blend it all. It makes no sense to me. Like the whole patriotic art kink or just coolest guy on the block. Like this van is like, I don't understand where they're coming from. I guess it has like kind of a classic rock with the Bruce Springsteen and the Beatles, but then I don't understand the other two. And just the Statue of Liberty is just like, doesn't really necessarily fit into the music thing. Don't know what's going on. Appreciate it. For $7,000, like quite honestly, I would be inclined to take the wrap off and just have like a really minty Aerostar, but that's just me. I think it is a white Aerostar. It looks like the interior is tan or gold. I can't really tell. I wish we had interior pictures. It's another little pet peeve of mine when we don't get interior pictures. But I think with a listing like this, it's like, if you're interested in this vehicle, you're going to be asking some questions, and presumably they're going to be giving you some answers about like the mechanicals of it and all that. And if you really want this van because of the wrap, then maybe you're not even going to ask questions and you're just going to buy it because you love it that much. So it's one of those two things. Very, very odd. I don't quite understand it. I appreciate the artistic like intent that's gone into it. It's so weird to me. But I had to feature it because A, it'll make a great thumbnail, and B, I think it's just like a unique, the Aerostar is like this such versatile vehicle, and you can do anything with it. And there's so many examples of different Aerostars. And here we have yet another, just like canvas for a super artistic wrap. Like that can also be what an Aerostar is. And I think it handles a wrap quite well. I mean, obviously there's a lot of space, and they got very creative with what they did on the front and on the rear hatch, and vinyling over the windows, blah blah blah. So really cool. I mean, in under 100,000 miles, low mileage, it seems like it's in very good condition. No dents, all the bumpers intact, blah blah blah. It doesn't seem like a lot of rust, although you never know what a wrap can cover. But just so odd is why I don't get it, but I like it. So if you want to, see what this is about or buy this vehicle, we just had a great comment as an aside on like the sort of lowrider Aerostar that we did on Year of the Aerostar, and the owner of the vehicle just recently commented, "Janky to Thanky to you." I got to write you back, but so that was cool. So maybe someone knows someone who owns this vehicle or someone buys this vehicle. If you want to fill us in on the details, feel free. We'd love to hear it. And I think that's it for now. A good sort of jump back into Year of the Aerostar. Very happy to be back doing these episodes as we sort of, quote unquote shop for an Aerostar, because, it's probably in 3 years, this is the most realistic option we've had to actually acquire another Aerostar for the fleet. We'll see what happens. Not the most responsible decision, but in theory, we did get paid out from the insurance company, so we could do it. So that's what we're doing in the next few episodes. If you're new here, we're just chronicling the Ford Aerostar and marketplace sort of classified culture in general. And this is going to be a fun sort of series of episodes. So I hope everybody sticks around and enjoys it. Thank you so much for watching. Janky to Thanky, got to respond to comments, that usual business, that spiel. I also have My Janky Life coming up. Maybe that came already, I don't know. If not, there's another one coming after that. We will have another episode of Year of the Aerostar, which is what this program is, very soon. And until then, Janky to Thanky.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.